Hi, this is Dan Danford. We're doing a series called Money Made Easy for DadsDivorce.com. We usually take a question from a viewer and then I answer it. Today's question is pretty good, and so we'll just launch right into it. I was wondering if you had a model or plan I should follow when it comes to prioritizing my debt. In general, what debts should people pay off first, such as mortgages, credit cards, car loans, etc.? The best thing about this question is that it contains elements of both finance and behavior. There's a really good answer if you do it strictly from a financial standpoint, but what we found is that often doesn't work that well when individuals are actually trying to modify their behavior. So a couple of ideas that may be helpful here. First of all, I kind of like the idea that Dave Ramsey uses. Dave Ramsey uses what he calls the snowball effect for paying off debt. And that's basically, start out where you can make some successes and then build on success. So from that perspective, it sometimes makes sense to start with your smallest debts. I mean, if you have 3 or 4 big debts out there, and one of them is $500 and another's $1,000 and another's $2,000, well, then the easiest and best way there may be to knock off the $500 debt first. After you've done that, then you feel like you've successfully put one of those problems to bed, and you can move on to the next one. And so you build on success from debt to debt to debt until you have them all taken care of. I think that's a great way to start. That really appeals to our psychological and behavioral nature, so I think that makes good sense. Now, from a financial standpoint, what would make the most sense is to start with the debt that has the highest interest rate. So you eliminate the highest interest rate first, and then you move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, until finally you're just left with the debt that has the lowest interest left. Now that makes a lot of sense too. So I guess what I'd say is kind of combine them both. I would take your smallest debt with the highest interest rate, and I would knock that off first. And then I would prioritize the others and move on to those. Now, in general, forget all the basics about the size of the debt and forget all the information about which one feels better and that kind of thing. This is just kind of a general guideline. The most expensive debt is often credit card debt, followed by store credit debt, followed by car loan debt, and last followed by mortgage debt. And that's basically just the way the interest rates fall. You'll have more interest on the credit card than you will on the mortgage. So if all other choices were equal, I would just start out with the credit cards first and your highest credit cards there, then move on to store credit, which might be department stores, but it might also be furniture stores or appliance stores. And then I'd move on to car loans, and last I would take on the mortgage debt. Now the interesting thing is, of those 4, the ones that I like the most are the car loans and the mortgage debt. Not that you can't save some money by paying those down, but they do have the additional value of the assets behind them hold value. So typically, even after you're done paying off a car loan, the car still has some value. The same thing's true with your house. So of all the different kinds of debt, those would be the ones that I would approach last. I would take care of all the rest, which is basically consumer debt. Consumer debt, oftentimes the merchandise that you bought doesn't have a lot of value, so eliminate that as quick as possible. In any case, the road to freedom is to get those debts paid off. So whatever approach you take, be very systematic at it. Just start putting money towards paying off debts, at the same time being very careful about what you spend with new money, and eventually you'll get all the bad debt behind you and you'll have a new freedom in your life. I hope that helps. Let us know how you're doing. Drop us a line after you've had a chance to work on it for a while. That's it for another Money Made Easy. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks.